Hello and welcome to another session of Recent Thoughts. Today we are going to be talking, I'm going to be talking about a very specific topic that probably a lot of you could identify with. I can for sure, which is time management issues, aka procrastination. Um, so yeah, I have this timer as always. Feel free to put me in the background while you're playing a game, while you're doing something, and just listening to what I have to say, what my opinions are. I'm going to be talking for 15 minutes, starting 3, 2, 1 now. Okay, procrastination. It's a very common problem that a lot of people, you know, a lot of people have this. A lot of people feel like doing something, but then, they don't. It's pretty much just they procrastinate, they waste their time. I've had the same thing too. And I still have the same thing. Even learning and, being in school, that all of that, I try to just push away and procrastinate as much as I could, which wasn't very, it wasn't good. And generally it's not good to procrastinate, but that's just a trait a lot of people have. And I feel like this procrastination or procrastinating in general has a very has a way more deeper psychological reason of why we are doing this than just being lazy, because most people would describe it to be lazy, but procrastinating is a very common psychological pattern that a lot of people go through, and a lot of people have to fight with it. It's not only just a pattern of behavior, it's more of almost, it's not a disability, I wouldn't say, but it's a lot of people suffer from it. Particularly, for example, I suffer from it. If I, have to learn, if I have to make music or I want to make music, I want to make it, but then I think about it for one moment, and then I think to myself, nah, I can do it tomorrow. And this pushing up time, or pushing in the future what you want to do, eventually just, makes me not do it. Because if you don't want to do it for a long time, then you lose interest in it. Yeah, a lot of people suffer from it, and even there's, I think there's certain disabilities that even boost procrastination. In my opinion, it's not something we can control. It's not something we can just bitch slap the person and then tell, hey, you gotta work on stuff. That person has to do it themselves. It's more of a trait that has to do with psychological exhaustion, I guess. Because you can procrastinate on anything, pretty much, from the smallest thing to the thing you like most. And if you realize, no, I love doing this and that, but I just don't want to because I don't feel like it, that's a problem. For example, I've been wanting to make music a lot. I have an album that I haven't finished yet, but I don't feel like finishing it. I don't feel like putting in time. And I feel like this has a lot to do with mental exhaustion, or at least with my mental exhaustion. I don't feel like it because right now, genuinely, I feel just not wanting to do anything. With depression and, worse stuff, it gets even worse, because what sense does it make to want to do something if you don't want to, for example, exist at all, right? If you feel like everything is against you, if you feel like everyone is against you, what reason would you have to do something, or do something you like, or do something at all? At least that's what I think procrastination, not what's causing procrastination, not what procrastination is causing. What procrastination, I hate this word by the way, procrastination is causing in the end is pretty much just, losing motivation at all, in general, I mean. You can't really control it. I couldn't control it, and I still can't control it. But that's just because we feel the way we feel right now. It's not a permanent thing. It's always temporary. I don't feel like I should teach anybody here because I'm not in the best mental state as well. But what I can say is that you definitely gain interests and lose interests. It's I don't want to say, but it's like friendships. You make new friends, you lose some friends, you stop talking, but eventually you meet new ones. Which is pretty much the same with interests as well. If you procrastinate, of course, with school it's different. With school, you're pretty much forced to do it, and this can break people. But with hobbies, it's pretty much okay. At least for me, it's pretty much okay. I've done that for that and that amount of time, but I don't feel like doing this anymore. So I'll probably switch it up. This is pretty much what happened to me right as of now. Because I used to have a music channel and I didn't really care about the numbers. The main thing is that I got tired of it. Or at least for now, I got tired of it because I don't want to burn out, or at least I don't want to burn out any more than I already have. So it kind of makes sense to procrastinate in that matter. What I can recommend with school is try to push through it. School is the only place where you need to battle with your procrastination, because it's not like you choose to be in school, but think about what it will cause for you if you don't learn now, because it eventually will just destroy your future. I'll say that definitely, it definitely gets better the higher you go. So if you just graduated high school and you're like me, you're studying in college, or only starting to study in college right now, trust me, it gets better. Because the main reason for it is because you actually learn something you want to learn, and this gives you like the drive. This gives you the drive, not only because of the thing you want to study, but because you meet so many people that actually study the same thing and have the same interests. Of course, you couldn't, for example, I don't know. It's not like you'll find a gamer, right? If you like games, but if you, for example, like me, like studying law or anything that has to do with morals and stuff, you'll definitely find somebody that you can identify with, that you can be friends with, and have nice little chats with. So your mental state definitely goes up. Of course, right now with the virus and the lockdown, everything is more hard, or it's everything is harder pretty much. For example, I didn't want to go to the actual lecture hall. I wanted to study there. I wanted to be with my friends physically, but it doesn't work. And so even if I learn right now in homeschooling, I still I revert back to procrastination, not because of like, not because I dislike the class I'm in, which I actually do right now. I study economy and I do want to change to law studies, but because there is no drive to do so. And I feel like in high school, there is no drive at all. You're studying something completely random that you didn't choose to do. That's why it's so hard to learn for a class that you're not interested in. You don't have the drive to learn. For example, it was way better. Like, at least for me, it was way better in music and English class. Duh, I speak fluent English, so I had it easier. I understood the teacher's intent, and I had that drive to learn. But for example, maths, a lot of people do have problems with maths as well as I do. But I just thought to myself, I grabbed myself, like, mentally, obviously, I grabbed myself by the ears and I said, if I don't do this now, I won't graduate. I need to graduate. Because you can, obviously, you can do whatever you want in life. You can work with your hands, but I like to work with my brain. And I like studies. I like law studies. I like music. And I don't particularly want to waste my life away on, a construction site or something. So I try to battle that procrastination. Eventually I succeeded. Not as well as I wanted to, but I did. That's probably, at least for me, it was the best decision I've made in math classes, in my math career, I guess. Because if I just gave up and pushed it to another day, that would have destroyed my graduation fucking testimony, whatever it's called in English. That would have fucked over my life. So definitely hang on in there. You can procrastinate on anything you want. It's not very healthy, of course, even with your hobbies. The important thing about procrastination, in my opinion, is that if you're procrastinating on one thing, try to develop the other. Don't just sit around on your ass doing nothing. Obviously you can, you're free to do anything. This isn't only my opinion. I'm trying not to teach, but I'm trying to give advice. If you're sitting on your ass, then you're doing nothing. And in my opinion, I don't like doing nothing. Of course it feels good to watch YouTube all day and fucking listen to music and do nothing at all, but where's the reason in me doing? I want to change something in myself. I started working out. I stopped procrastinating on music. I started doing music. I started doing something, and if that something becomes not interesting, I try something else until I find something that I like so much that I would do it, my whole life. And so are studies, to be honest. Don't expect to succeed first time you get out of high school. You definitely have to tap your way into life and find your way into life, because life is unpredictable. You will do one thing, you will think it's right, and then life will fuck you in the it will pretty much screw you up and say, hey, no, it's random. It's always random. That's why the only thing we can do is hope, and hopefully not procrastinate as much. Whatever you do, hang in there. That's the only piece of advice I could give without, sounding professional. I feel like every time I talk on these sessions, people think that I try to teach, whereas I'm only, giving you advice and telling you my experience from, my perspective. Um, oh, we are already down to 40 seconds, but that's fine. In that case, I am going to briefly, wrap this up. Thank you a lot for listening. I try to improve my quality, but again, I still I want this to be just a very chill channel. Whenever or what I'm not gonna edit any of this audio. I'm just gonna put some music underneath, and I'm gonna do something with the video, and that's it. Um, I'm sorry if the video quality is not as good, but I hope, and we are out of time. Awesome. I hope you had fun while listening, or whatever you were doing. Stay safe. Write something in the comments if you want to, and I'll see you in the next session.